speaking of big money, I want to get into this last story here, which is the trade between the Lakers and the Mavs. And then we'll hop off here, Tyler. So Luka gets traded to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Um, and my initial thought is they got two superstars now, but LeBron said it himself. He's like, I'm old, which he is. I mean, he came into the league 21 years ago. I think it was 2004, 2003, and he's been LeBron his whole career, but he is getting older. So, well, he's old. He's old now. He really is. So, what did you think about this?
Yeah, I was shocked. I think like everybody else, I'm like, is this some kind of like fake news story that just popped up in my feed? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this actually happened. And then it just makes you so curious, like, how did we get here? Like where did this start? How did we, whatever? And the funny thing is, I like following the Lakers for a couple reasons, but one of them is so Rob Palinka actually is from my hometown. He went to Lake Forest High School, same high school. He's 10 years older than me. So I met him a couple times, and his dad was actually a high school teacher. And I had his dad's class in high school. And so I've always followed Rob, and from the time where he played basketball at Michigan, he was part of the Fab Five in those years. He
Mm-hmm.
actually won a title his freshman year, and then was there for 5 years, and was then there for like a year or two with the Fab Five. And so it's always been fun to kind of follow. He's a stud in high school, of course, and then becomes an agent and represent all the big name guys like Kobe, Carlos Boozer, like all these big time guys. And I remember one of my teammates was like, "Hey man, Rob, can you call him and see if he might represent me?" And this is like when he's representing like Kobe and stuff. And I was like, I mean, I'll reach out, but I don't know, man. He's taking some pretty big names. And he was real nice. He wrote me back, and he's like, "Hey, man, great to hear from you. Unfortunately, like I only take on like one new guy a year." And I was like, "That's amazing when you have like that strong of a agency and impact where like you're so selective." And I'm like, "Sorry, friend, but it's not going to be you."
Well,
um,
he's like the Drew Rosenhaus of the NBA, man.
oh, dude. And so
Even
what?
though
Yeah.
Rosenhaus, I think, has NBA guys, but he's yeah.
Yeah. So I'm always, and he's a brilliant guy. I mean, he got his law degree from Michigan, and I remember telling me like all he did to kind of go through like all the schooling and studying for to be a lawyer. And I remember him telling me about like the tests he had to take and stuff to become a lawyer, and I'm like, man, that is like no joke. So not only was he a phenomenal player, but like really, really sharp, smart guy too. So not surprised he's the GM of the Lakers. But anyway, as far as the trade goes, I mean, LeBron, I think probably loves having another like rock star on his team because LeBron's an unselfish player, and you can't say that about like every superstar in the league. You think about uh, big bushy beard guy. What's his name? Drew, not Drew. Harden, James Harden.
Yep,
Like
yep.
yeah, he just seems like a guy that like a phenomenal scorer, but he's just in a different class as far as like unselfishness that LeBron is. And so I think LeBron and him are going to mix well. And not that him and Anthony Davis didn't, but I think having a guy like that, I think just takes a lot off of LeBron's back. Are they going to have the inside game? And, is that kind of their missing piece? We'll see. I mean, the Lakers are having a pretty good year. It's not like they're, because they really struggled last year. But I think clearly they're gonna make the playoffs, and it's gonna be fun, man. And now that the Warriors have Jimmy Butler, right down the road, that's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I don't know how this is gonna play out, But I'm just excited to kind of see things shake up, and that makes the NBA fun. Like people
Yeah.
have been talking about how NBA maybe hasn't been getting the viewership or whatever, like things like this that shake things up and get people talking. That's definitely going to help their cause.
Well, one thing about Jimmy Butler, man, I like his hair. Like, what the heck is that? He's got the dye in there. Like,
I
I like
know,
that.
I know.
It's interesting. Like, it's an interesting look.
Yeah, he's an entertainer, man. He's a character that just it's like he's got so much money. He's one time like he just doesn't care. He's like, listen, this is who I am, man. If you want to roll with me, great. But if you don't like the way I am or my attitude or my hair, like he doesn't give a rip.
Um, Bills guy or not Bills, Bulls guy. Not Scottie Pippen, but the dude that had the pink hair and
Oh,
the
Rodman.
Dennis Rodman had the freaking he had like I think it was like cheetah hair or it was like spotted and leopard.
Yeah,
Crazy man, like crazy stuff that he did. But he's kind of similar to that.
that's a really good comparison. The same thing came to mind, and he was like the first guy to really do that.
Yeah.
Like there was nobody else like dyeing their hair green or putting like a Bulls logo like in
Yep.
their hair. But people in Chicago, like I mean, and he was such a worker though. He would come out
Oh
like
yeah.
he didn't want to score. He'd have wide open layups and be like, "No, man, you take it." He
Yep.
just wanted to do his job and get rebounds. And that was such a fun dynamic between him and Pippen and Jordan. Um, there was actually in Chicago, as you're coming into the city on one of the big highways, there was this huge brick building, and somebody painted this massive picture of Dennis Rodman, his face, and like they would change his hair color like every few weeks or whatever. And it was this unbelievable piece of art on this building, and there would always be this massive traffic jam like right there because people would slow down to look at it.
He had I think it was a bunch of little 23s in his head the one time because that's when Michael came back from retirement.
Oh, funny.
It was something like that. But yeah, man, these trades they keep it interesting for sure. I know Jimmy wanted out of Miami and now he's at Golden State. So yeah, it keeps it interesting, man. Like you really do need a big three. You do. You need a big three, and then guys that um, complement that big three. So it's pretty
Yeah,
much how the NBA's always been, man. As good as Michael Jordan was, if he didn't have some help, I don't think he would have won all he won.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but Scottie Pippen, man, like he was. What's up, Anthony? He was an amazing player too. So they had those two great players, and then Scotty or Dennis Rodman. I think he's still all time in rebounds to this
Yeah,
day.
yeah, he's got to be.
So
That guy was like 15. It wasn't uncommon for him to get like 20 rebounds, 22 rebounds is incredible. Um, and the one of the other neat stories was that the Warriors tried to get Kevin Durant before they got Jimmy Butler, and they're like, "Hey, bring him back!" Like, how cool would that have been? But apparently Durant was not real keen on going back there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anthony said originally a lot of people were defending Jimmy on the way he was acting, but as this whole situation went on with Miami and Jimmy, people start to realize why Pat wasn't giving him the money. Um, yeah, so um, that's Pat Riley, I think. Yeah, Pat Riley. So,
Yeah,
but Tyler, you need to jump off, man. We're playing at 4:15, I think, today, Penn State. So check that out, guys. Make sure you watch them today. But Tyler, thanks for coming on again, man. It's always good to have you on.
yeah,
I like
yeah,
doing this, and I look forward to talking some March Madness with you because um, that's a big time of year. March Madness, it's
yeah.
fun.
It's so much fun. One time when I was playing down in Argentina, I had some extra time on my hands, and we found this massive roll of paper. And what's Anthony saying? What was he saying?
He said he was being unprofessional, walking out of practices, and purposely coming late to flights or not showing up to team flights at all. Yeah, That's
Yeah.
kind of been his story, though, man. He's bounced around a lot.
Yeah, Anthony, that's a good call, man. It's like every superstar you're going to hear stuff about, and then there's going to be ego there. And it's like, how much are you willing to put up with? And, all those coaches, they're going to put up with some level of it because the players are making more money than them. And it's a lot easier to replace a coach than it is a player than like
Yeah.
of those guys' caliber. So, you hear, oh, it's a player driven league, and it is, especially with all these guaranteed deals. So yeah, not surprised that he made a move. It seems like that happens with some of the guys that seem to have um, some attitude issues or whatever, and that's why they bounce around a little bit more than maybe other guys do. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this plays out. And I mean, Rodman, he was an issue in San Antonio for a while, and they're like, we can't put up with this shenanigans anymore. Like, Bulls, you guys are happy to have him, and I can't remember if they got him in a trade or just free agency. I can't remember. Do you know?
So Rodman, he was with San Antonio. He's with the Pistons, the bad boy Pistons.
Yeah, Pistons. Yeah,
I don't think. I think they traded for him. I know they
yeah,
drafted Scottie Pippen, but
yeah.
I think they traded for him because he was still on the Pistons, man. I think,
Yeah.
and obviously they were something else.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
yeah. But like under the right leadership, I mean, you can get guys like, hey, I mean, Coach K tells this great story about the Olympic Redeem team when they had Kobe, Durant, LeBron, and he said that the first meeting they had with the team, he's like, a lot of people will say, "Hey, leave your egos at the door. You're playing for USA." He's like, actually, I disagree with that. I want your ego, but I want it under this USA umbrella ego, right? So I thought it was kind of a neat way of just being like, listen, don't stop being who you are. I love who you guys are. All your egos are what makes a lot of you guys so great. That's a part of you, but let's keep it within the USA umbrella. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
guys bought into that, which was cool. So who knows, man? Maybe, and sometimes guys just need a fresh start. They just need fresh scenery and fresh people to be around. And I'm sure it'll be good for a while, but I don't know if I see him like riding out his career with the Warriors. But they gave him a nice little, 2-year contract, I think, for like almost 70 million a year or something crazy.
Well, I remember Tony Kucha, if I'm saying his name right. They played. He played them in the Olympics, and at that time, the GM of the Bulls was like, "Yeah, he's gonna be the next guy." Then they just beat the crap out of him. Um, and they were like, "Yeah, you think you're gonna get him? We just beat him, you know." But Michael's ego, competitiveness kicked in, and they freaking just shut him down totally. Poor
That
guy.